joining us. The under-18s had a 4-2 defeat against Northampton last weekend. What did you make of the game?
Well, on some levels, very, very positive. However, obviously the result was disappointing. We've dominated the game in possession for large periods, and were controlled out of possession as well. Created a number of chances in the dangerous areas of the pitch that we look to create our chances from, but unfortunately, a number of individual errors have led to 3 of their 4 goals. Which, unfortunately, if you make those errors in games of football, you will get punished, and it's really irrelevant how well you play with the ball at your feet. If you don't get things right in relation to into that and not making those mistakes, then you're going to lose a game.
Been quite a few goals for and against throughout the season, I think it's fair to say. Presumably the defensive side, something you're trying to work on with them.
It's less the defensive side, Tom, if I'm being honest, and it's more players making individual errors, which you can't account for really as a coach of a team. And it's important that young players learn to iron out those mistakes out of their game as quickly as possible, because ultimately a manager later on down the line needs to be able to rely on them to not make those mistakes. Our defensive shape and the understanding of the players' defensive responsibilities in each third of the pitch is good. You speak to any of the players, they know what they need to do. 90% of our goals that we can see come from errors from our play in possession of the football or poor positional play, which leads to then a goal being opposition player intercepting the football or nicking it off one of our players to then go on and score, which is again what's happened for 3 of the 4 goals on Friday.
You've obviously played quite a few of the teams now, if not all of them, in your division. How do you assess this kind of first chunk of the season?
A broken half of the season, to say the least. I would say we've struggled really to get any level of consistency in terms of the team week on week. Actually, the level of consistency we've had over the last 3 to 4 weeks has probably been the most we've had throughout the season, which, take Northampton away, is reflective of an upturn in performance and an upturn in some of the results as well, which has seen us push up the league, as we're making sure that we're fighting to make sure we get in the top half of the league so that we're in the Merit League for the second half of the season. The disappointing thing always, and it's out of your control a lot of the times, because you're pushing players on, looking to get them developed, and the ultimate goal is to get players in the first team, is that we've never really been able to put, even for the EFL Youth Cup, we've not had our strongest players on the pitch for a number of reasons. For the EFL Youth Cup it was for a couple of injuries, but throughout the season for the Youth Alliance it's been because we've been playing players in under-21 games, we've got players involved with the first team, so sometimes we've had players stepping in who are not ready for the experience, other times we've had players stepping in who for whatever reason haven't performed to the level they need to, which just hasn't really helped us get the momentum that we've had in the past couple of seasons. But the positive thing is that the players are still there, they're just not always there on an under-18 fixture on a Saturday morning, because sometimes they're out on loan, sometimes with the 21s, or sometimes they're travelling with the first team.
Yeah, that must be the catch-22 for you, that you want them to push on but you need them for the results for the under-18s at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you're striking the balance between bringing some of the younger ones through as well and pushing them on, but also making sure you've got a strong core with the youth team so that you know that any players coming into it are coming into a settled environment, which has just been probably difficult to manage this year, combining some of the injuries that we've had, but that combined with pushing players on into the 21s and first team.
And finally, next week there's the Middlesex Senior Challenge Cup game here at the Hive. Without giving too much away, is that one where we can expect to see perhaps some under-18s involved?
I would think so. I would be surprised if it's too dissimilar, shall we say, from the Checkatrade trophy in relation to the number. I don't know what will happen in relation to first team player involvement, but in relation to youth players involvement, there'll be some under-18s who fall outside of the under-21s, I'm sure, who'll be involved in the game.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.